I'm down base. Okay, a lot of stuff which is going to be familiar from Bavli tonight. A lot of Ksuvah stuff. Hocha Truma amazing. Somebody eats Truma intentionally. Mishayim is the Keren, Veinu Mishayim is the Chomish. He pays Keren, the principal, but not the Chomish, because Chomish is Kapara, and he doesn't deserve Kapara because he didn't amazing. But Tashlum Chulin, and therefore also unlike where you eat B'shogeg, where whatever you give to the Kohen becomes Truma, here the Tashlumim remain Chulin. And therefore also here, since they don't become Truma, and since they're not Kapara, Imratza Kohen Limcho Mocha, if the Kohen wants to be Moichel the payment, he's allowed to be Moichel the payment. Okay? All these things are true. Let's see the Gemara. Tamon Tanina. We learned over there in Masechta Ksuvas. Eloheinu Loki. These are those who are flogged. Now among those who are flogged is Abal Achoso. Is a man who has relations with his own sister. But that we learn over there, Elu Narishishlen Knas, that if you have relations with these girls when they're naros or ktanos, you seduce or rape them, you have to pay a fine for having done so. So it's a contradiction to our Gemara, because over there it says that what? Well, I take back. It's not a contradiction. There, it's a kasha over there. Period. It says that on one hand you get malchus, and the other hand it says you pay. So there's the principle ein adam loikem mishalim. You can't get malchus and tashlumin. There's no double jeopardy. Either you get flogged or you have to pay, not both. So Rabbi Yochanan said it's done and he must nisa. That Mishnah should be read as being two different scenarios. It's starting literally means the sides. Im hitru bo loke, if you forewarned him, he gets malchus. If you lo trubo, if you not forewarn him, b'shalom he pays. Okay, so Rabbi Yochanan Shita, which will accompany us throughout the evening, is that if you gave the guy Asra for malchus, then he gets malchus. Didn't give that guy Asra, so he pays. Depends where on the Asra. Okay? It's made in either case, right? Right. Why? Same as a capital crime. Yeah?
It's technically without Asra.
Okay, we'll talk about that. Some Rabbi Yochanan Meimar b'mokom makos tashlumin. Rabbi Yochanan's principle is that a place where you have the alternative of either giving you a flogging or paying, loke veinu mishalim. You pay, you get flogged, you do not pay. That's more of yilka v'yishalim. Why don't you get both? Double jeopardy. Ksiv k'dei rishaso. It says you get because of your evil. Now it's taken as singular. Risha so as opposed to Risha osot. Mishum Risha achasata mechayvo. You're mechayvim because of one of the evil things he did. Because of both the evil things he did. Meaning, you'll give him one punishment, not two. So ask him the obvious question. So give him the punishment, be shine below yoke, let him pay and not get malchus. So says the Gemara, this is also Xeris HaKosim. A person who's liable to two separate penalties, literally committed two acts of evil. The process being without, yet nonetheless be pilu ha-shoifet ha-kohen lefonav. Viko. What you mean? Do you have va-kohen? Okay, I have a typo here. Yeah. It can't be Viko, va-kohen. Okay, v'pilu ha-shoifet v'hikahu lefonav k'dei rishaso b'mispar. So there it says that in a case where it's somebody who's its assumption is that it's about even a guy who is chayiv because of two rishuyos, and nonetheless it says v'kol lefonav k'dei rishaso b'mispar. It says that what is the preferable punishment? This pasuk is telling us explicitly that the preferable punishment is flogging, malchus. Okay, so where you have the choice of giving one of two punishments, either malchus or mammon, the Torah prefers that we give malchus over mammon. Okay, Shimon Lakish says a different svara. He argues Rabbi Yochanan. He says even if they didn't give the guy hasra, and therefore he's not going to be chayim malchus, he doesn't pay. It's like amigo. Since if he did give him hasra, he would be chayim malchus. So therefore now that he didn't give him hasra, nonetheless he doesn't have to pay. Okay. The Miko is that his Aveira is susceptible to the penalty of Malchus. And therefore, it's either that or nothing. Doesn't get anything. No, so he's going to darshan that. That Rabbi Yochanan darshan his way, so he's going to darshan his way. Ask the Gemara first, Masdisa pliga reish lakish. Our Mishnah argues on Reish Lakish. Because our Mishnah says, Ochel Truma Shoige, Mishayin Karen V'chomesh. Our Mishnah says, not this Mishnah which we learned today, but a Mishnah learned previously, that if you Truma B'Shoge, you pay Karen V'chomesh. Now, Karen V'chomesh indicates, L'choyara, that we're talking about a case where an individual could get Malchus, because after all, if you Truma Mezi, you can get Malchus, right? So nonetheless, we say, Ochel Truma Shoige, Mishayin Karen V'chomesh. So how do boys do that Mishnah? So I'm not sure why we asked from that Mishnah, not from our Mishnah over here. Because really here we see in our Mishnah that right? You see in our Truma by Mazin, right? So Pasuk Meir, I guess because that's going to be difficult on everybody. Assume our Mishnah is going to be difficult on everybody because also Rabbi Yochanan is going to have difficulty with it. So maybe that's why we didn't ask for it. But be that as may. Passer lo Kramer, he explains that Mishnah is going to Kramer. The Kramer Omar Lokel Mishai. Kramer says you get Malchus and pay. So that's Kramer. We don't know that way. Says more Masisa Pliga Reish Lakish Mishnah and Ksuvas Reish Lakish. El Narish Yeshlem Knas. It talks about the women for the girls for whom you have to give a fine. And of course, some of them are Abal Achoso and Abal Mamzeret, and other cases over there where there's Malchus, right? If they gave you Asuros, wouldn't you be Malchus? Yet nonetheless, in that case, you have to pay. So again, Pasuk Rameir, he learns like Rameir, the Rameir Omer Lok Mashar Meir host says you can get Malchus and pay at the same time. Rameir, who learns that you can get double jeopardy, Lamad Lomi Motzi Shemra, learns this out of Motzi Shemra, from a man who claims that his wife was not a basula when he married her, and that she must therefore have had improper relations, illicit relations. So, Vanchua, do you have the words Motzi Shemra in your Gemara? Oh, you do have that. Okay. Vanchua Mamon, you should punish him with money. That's the interpretation of Vanchua is money. The Yisur, so they should afflict him, that's obviously with Malchus. And yet, you see, you give him both. Rabbanan say, L'chidusho yatsa motzi shemra. Motzi shemra is a chiddush. It's unique in this respect. Well, it's unique in other respects, and therefore it's unique in this respect as well. Davish yatsa chiddush is something which is unique and has unique qualities to it, ain't lemadim, and we do not extrapolate from it. What's the unique quality of Motzi Shema? Normally a person is not chayiv for having said something. Right? Because that's a lav. She'ain bo. No. Maisa. Lav Sheva Maisa. Almost. A lav which has no maisa. Normally not chayiv lav shema maisa. The kind of the mischayit word here you're chayiv on that which you say. So therefore we see that this is unique. Since it's unique, it may also well be the only case, the unique case in which there's malchus and money together. On top of now, just like we can't extrapolate for this or for anything else, be that you should ever get malchus lav shema maisa. Kach made him a man who lo lon shivul malchus. You can learn out also for the double jeopardy aspect. Yeah.
And just because the player
Yeah, we do.
What's
Ein lecha bo el chidusha. That's how it appears in the Bavli. Okay, Rabbi Avo. Avo said, the truth is that this concept, which we're about to see, which we saw earlier, is going to come up again soon in Daf Yomi and Bavli and Shabbos. Well, soon. Shabbos is so huge, in 2 months. But there's a concept. We had a few blot ago. Mazid, now I have the words B'chelev v'shogeg b'korban. Do you have those? Okay. So this is unique sheet of Rabbi Yochanan. I don't believe he paskin like him in this respect, but it is a sheet of Rabbi Yochanan here and in Masechta Shabbos. The Gemara says there that according to Rabbi Yochanan, if a person was mazid, he intentionally ate chelev, but he did not know there's a chi of korban on eating chelev. No, he gets malchus and look at this masrim bo v'loike. If you gave him asra, he gets malchus umevi korban. Okay, again, this is a sheet which we're not familiar with because it usually doesn't crop up. Because I don't think we pass like Rabbi Yochanan. But Rabbi Yochanan's shita is if you were mazed on the Maisa Aveira, but you were shogeg on the malchus, meaning you weren't aware that there's a chi of malchus involved in this. So then you do get malchus and korban. Even though you were mazed, and that's like getting malchus, there's still a chi of korban afterwards. Okay?
What's the reason for korban?
Because as long as you
thought he was only chayav a korban to begin with?
No, on the contrary. He thought it's only chayav malchus, not a korban. That's what you think. But that's now Rabbi Yochanan thinks. Yochanan says that the parameter of shogeg for korban is a very, very broad one. It's not just that you didn't know the Maisa was Osir, or that you forgot the Maisa was Osir, or you forgot that it was the right day, or whatever the case may be. Even if you knew the Maisa was Osir, and you're transgressing and made it, if you were not aware that there's a concept of Korban, so then I say you're chayav to bring the Korban. Okay? You don't have to like this, but that's what Rabbi Yochanan holds.
Not aware that you could ultimately bring a korban, or not aware that the malchus?
The former. Of course, you're going to find this difficult because you've been socialized. It's the wrong word. You've been educated, taught, raised that you only get a korban for pure shogeg. It's not Rabbi Yochanan Shita.
That's Svara.
He does learn a pasuk. I'm not here, but he does learn a pasuk. So in any event, it says more. That's the case. If by chelev, where you eat forbidden fats, you can get a korban plus misa, plus malchus. So here too, get a moment in malchus. Why not here too as well? Here say yilka b'shalom, just like there you say yilka b'yavi korban, but let's say yilka b'shalom. Sarabun Barchi B'Shem Rashua Rabbi Yitzchak said Shnei Dvorim HaMasurin LeBeisin Atoy V'Sechon Mehem. Malchus and Mammon are both things which Beisin can enforce. So Beisin only gets to enforce one of them. Yotza Darvishu Masal L'Shmai as opposed to Korban. Korban is not enforced by Beisin. A person brings it as kapara on his own. So therefore, Beisin can say, we're going to enforce Malchus. You bring Korban for yourself. Beisin cannot say, we're going to force Malchus and Mammon. That they're not permitted to do. So Beisin is given. The Pilah Shoifet V'Yikoku Yerushalmi Mitzvah means Beisin can only impose one punishment, which is preferable according to the preferred punishment according to Rabbi Yochanan is Malchus. But you yourself might be liable to separately do the right thing, which in this case would be to bring a korban. Okay, that's how Rabbi Yochanan will learn it. That's the fundamental concept that in order to obviate the double jeopardy, they both have to be things which Beis Din imposes. But if one is a Beis Din imposed issue and the other is a self-generated issue, then one does not negate the other.
But he's not going to generate himself. What's he going to say? I did wrong. I want to bring it.
Ervil Tshuvaton. What's the tshuva?
So he goes to Beis Din and he says, "How can I do tshuva?"
Right.
And they tell him, "Bring a car."
They say, we'll flog you. We'll flog you. But those do this, and you should know on the side you're also supposed to be a korban.
That he has to initiate that desire.
The korban, not the malchus. Right. We initiated on his back. But the korban has to initiate. Okay?
There's similar machlokas in Makos about being kind of loaded the knas.
Yeah, but there's no sheet in malchus that they can be chayiv in malchus and not and in korban. The Rabbi Yochanan's not brought down there.
Maybe malchus and a knas.
That's Motzi Shemra. There's malchus and knas by Motzi Shemra. Okay, that's what we had. But we had that. Okay, everybody agrees, however, that if you incur the death penalty, then you're off the hook as far as payments. The Chesed says, "Make nevish beima yishalmena." Somebody who smites down dead an animal, he has to pay for it. Umakodem yumas, somebody smites down dead a human being, dies. Ma make beima, just like a person who kills an animal. No chilak the bow. There's no distinctions. Ben shogi ben meis, whether they did it intentionally or unintentionally. L'chiu moment, and regardless, you're chayiv to pay because you were damaged somebody else's property. So to an individual who smites a human being. Tachlok bo, you do not draw a distinction. Ben shogi ben meis, whether he was shogi or meis. L'peter moment, in all cases, he's exempt for a payment. This is a very fundamental principle. Even Rabbi Yochanan agrees that if you're chayiv misa b'shogeg, you're exempt from payment. Tzoi b'chayiv transgressed the law. B'shogeg or without asra, that according to Rabbi Yochanan, you have the potential to get malchus, to get moment. According to Rabbi Yochanan, where you transgressed a lav, b'shogeg, just a plain Jane lav, b'shogeg, so give you malchus, not money. No, you get money, not malchus. Sorry, can't get any confused. To transgress the plain Jane lav, without asra, you pay. Rish Lakish argued. Rish Lakish said, even a plain Jane lav without asra, you still don't pay, because it's susceptible to malchus. But by misa, anything which is susceptible to misa, even though right now you did a b'shogeg, you're for sure parted from money. No, yeah, but it's killing Rabbi even when you're not actually getting the death penalty. You're right. Excuse me. Yes, we'll discuss that. But anyway, so that's what we say here. Again, whether it's done intentionally or unintentionally. And you have to pay in any event. So too, when you smite an individual. There's no difference between shoyu and moizid. The Peter moment, you are exempt. In what is there going to be in machlokas? Only by, this is really a summary of what I just told you. Where's the machlokas? Only where there's money in conjunction with the potential of flogging. The Rabbi Yochanan ein moment eitzel misa. There is no payment of money where you are theoretically susceptible to death penalty, but b'yesh moment eitzel malchus, if you're theoretically susceptible to malchus, as long as you're not actually getting them, you do have to pay. Shemilokish says, Kishem Shem Momen eitzel misa, just like there's no money by the death penalty, even if you did the b'shogeg, kach moment eitzel malchus. So there's no money by malchus as well, that where you could have theoretically incurred malchus, even though you didn't, it exempts you from paying. Rabbi Ami Bavla b'shem Rabbayin Tamon. Rabbi Ami, the Babylonian name of the rabbis of Bavel, said, "Time Yerushalmi Lakish. What's like Yerushalmi Lakish? You asked me before about a pasuk by Yerushalmi Lakish. Asi Rasha Rasha. Learns Yerushalmi Rasha Rasha. Nema Rasha b'chayim mises. Says Rosh by people who are liable to the death penalty. Nema Rasha b'chayim malchus says Rosh people are liable to malchus as well. Ma resha shenema ranemer machuyim misos eid momon eitzel misa. Just like in the case of Rasha, by somebody's chayim misos based and there's no money by death. In other words, if he's chayiv or even susceptible to death, he doesn't pay. Af Rasha shnemer chiyuvei makas, so to the Rasha which is stated by the chiyuvei makas ain't momon eitzel makas. There's no money in the place of a potential, even hypothetical, flogging. Okay, now we have yet another shita. Rabbi Nosson bar Ashi Omar, kam benaro, kam bebugeres. Where's their knas? Where you rape a nar, where you rape too. Where's their malchus? Where's their moment? Sorry. Where's the moment by a naira? By a girl under 12 and a half. Where is there no moment? Only bogeres? Only malchus by a bogeres. Because the halach of knas was stated only by a naira, not by a bogeres. Okay, and that's what we're going to discuss now. The Tanya we learned, nara yesh knas, if you rape a nara, you got to pay her. You got to pay. Vein lo mecher, she cannot be sold into slavery. Bogeres ein lo mecher, bogeres per shteitzach, obviously can't be sold into slavery, but lo knas. But there's no knas. So therefore, it's no knas. So therefore, if there's no monetary payment, you pay. Ask the Lord, is there no monetary payment whatsoever, even by a bogeres? Vein lo boshes b'kam. What about the embarrassment, the degradation, and the loss of her value? Because she's not a psul anymore, right? Says more Rabbanan the Kesarian say Amre the Tipoter Shepitaso or Oshemachlo. We talk about cases no boshes of gam because she seduced him. It's her problem. Or she was moichel him those payments. So once she's moichel him those payments, that paves the way for him getting malchus. So a man who rapes a bogeres comes say, you know what? Ploinus, let me appease you. I'll pay you the boshes of gam. So Ploinus, I'm sure, very upset him, says, I want to see you flogged. So she's not moichel, and then he gets flogged. Okay? That's what we're saying. So name it. Sorry, the fundamental principle that you see here is that in a case it's possible to have malchus and payment. By a nara, mishalim ve'eloike, the antithesis of Rabbi Yochanan. The third shita. Rabbi Yochanan said, where it's possible to have malchus or mammon, you're malchus, you don't pay mammon. Rish Lakish said, in a case where it's possible to have malchus and mammon, so then also get malchus and no mammon. Right? He says the exact opposite of Sabaroshi. He says, in a case it's possible to have malchus and mammon, you get mammon and low malchus. Okay? The exact opposite. That's what they say here. By Dara, you pay rather than getting flogged. So, sorry, that's where she mocha makas tashlumit.
Even if she's Michael, she's Michael money.
I don't know if a Nara can be Michael.
Oh, this is Nara.
Yeah. Because she's still in her father's jurisdiction, so I don't know if she can be Michael. What? Yeah, I don't know that. What? Should she be Michael? Why can't she be Michael? No, she can be Michael. It's a punishment, it's a directed punishment. If she doesn't want it, she can be Michael. Sure. Absolutely. Okay? Says Gemara. Where am I? Let's have some Rabbi Nosson Baruch again. Sorry, Nosson Baruch, but Mocha Malchus is in place. There's a possibility of having Malchus and payment. Mishayim in a local, you pay and you do not get Malchus. Yerushalmi Terumos going to get both. See if they Rishos says one. One affliction, not two. So now the Gemara asks, I don't think you have this. Let him get Malchus and not pay, like Rabbi Yochanan. So learn this out from false witnesses. They pay, they make restitution, and they don't get Malchus. He pays, he doesn't get Malchus. Rabbi Yoina? Rabbi Yoina said another interpretation. Time of the Rabbi Yoina, the reason Nosson says he pays and doesn't get Malchus, because it says v'pilu hashofet v'kol lefonav. It says the shofet should throw him down and hit him in front of himself. And shemako sov yotzos v'bo risho. It has to be a case where after the shofet beats him, he's back among you without any additional demands. So because the proposal goes on, once your brother's embarrassed. Once he's been embarrassed, he becomes your brother again. So be that as it may, I'm not sure if the Gemara intends to bring the right at the beginning of the pasuk, from the end of the pasuk. But the bottom line is, Eshemakos of Yotz's Bokadei Risho has to be a case where the Malchus take him out of the Rishos. Yotzes says Shomer Lo Amod V'Shalem. But here, if he owed money, that even after he gets Malchus, people say the rat fink. He still owes money. Let him go and pay the money. So therefore, he holds that money is a superior thing to give to Malchus. Masniso Lamed Hamid Beis now. Are we up to Lamed Hamid Beis now? Can you read them to me? Oh, I see. As asterisk at the end line. Sorry, my mistake. Masniso Pli Yerushalmi and Lakish. The Mishnah seems to argue in Yerushalmi and Lakish. Here we finally come around to asking from our Mishnah. But seeing that we learn Ochel Truma Meizid, if you truma intentionally, Mishalim is Kevin Mishalim Skomish, you pay Karen Achoy, Meshlichor here he gets Malchus. Now, I'll die to Rabbi Yoina Son Beresha, Koram Nasi Anosha Du Omar. Who says? Still not Lamed Hamid Beis? What has to be like?
So that's the issue. Also, what
so he takes that puzzle.
The initial question is from Offer B'Shogeg.
Oh, but we already had that question, so that's why he takes it out. Because the question the Gemara opened up with when it did Reish Lakish the first time. It was that. I mean, I had it before you didn't have it.
You read it. I think didn't I say knows it or something?
Because I did have that. Yeah, he put it up way back on top. Okay, you must have just not had it back then and not noticed it because you thought I was babbling.
You were right, though. A lot of times we're just sort of floating. We definitely have to hang loose.
Okay, but it was back there. Somewhere in Lamed Aleph Beis he inserted it. So alright, let's read it now. Pasuk Rabbi Meir. So Masisa Pliga Rishim and Lakish. even though I read it before, read it again. Our Mishnah seems to argue with Rishim and Lakish. But then we learn on our Mishnah, not our Mishnah, but previously in the Masechta, unintentionally, so then you still pay. So the Chayach on Rish Lakish, that's not true. You shouldn't still pay.
Our text doesn't even have Shogeg or Meiz. Our text just says, Mastis Pligal Rishim ben Lakish. That's all it says.
That's all it says? Mastis Pligal Rishim ben Lakish?
Yeah.
So he cut and paste this from Lamed at the bottom, put it back there. Okay. So the Rameir on my locum shalim. Meir says you can't be locum shalim. Now we cut that from our Mishnah. But then we learn you can take it back. But then we learn now going to the top of Lamed Hey base. If somebody eats truma intentionally, Mishayim is carried, and Mishayim is a chomesh. He pays carry, he doesn't pay a chomesh. I'll die to the Rabbi Nosson Baruchia. Oh yeah, right. Let's go from the Mishnah. I'll die to the Rabbi Nosson Baruchia. This you have, right? I'll die to the Rabbi Nosson Baruchia. Do Amar Mishayim Ein Eloka. Rabbi Nosson Baruchia says you pay and you don't get malchus. That's our Mishnah is good. You pay. I'll die to Rabbi Yochanan Amraim Hitrubo Loka, who said only if you give us straw, then you get malchus. Vim Loi Srubo Mishayim, if you don't give us straw, then you pay. Basula Meziv Lo Asroya. He learns Rabbi Shimon about he did it intentionally without Asra. I'll die to Rabbi Shimon Lakish. But according to Rabbi Shimon Lakish, it's difficult. Roshan he makes it, he's shoygate. Makes the difference if he did it intentionally or unintentionally. He Srubo. Makes the difference if they gave him Asra or not. You should only should never have to pay, because it's a potential chiyuv malchus. Never have to pay. Says the Gemara, Savar Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish Rabbi Meir. I have the word he. You don't have it, right? Rabbi Shimon Lakish all the time is going like Rabbi Meir. And there are Meir. I have the words Du Amar, and then you don't have those words either. But then you do have the locum shalim. The Meir to get malchus and tashlum. It's therefore our mission is going like Rabbi Meir. So therefore, if you did it for Meir, where you get malchus, you also get that. You also have to pay. Excuse me. I'm Rabbi China Kumi Rabbi Mora. Rabbi China sent for Rabbi Mora. Vini is more Hashem Elokish Kulam Asiyis of Rabbi Meir. Even Hashem Elokish holds every Mishnah shots is like Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir. How's the positive? What's going to say the psukim like Rabbi Meir too? What psukim? Boxy does say Vishkia Chal Kodesh Bishkoge. If it says the person eats Kodesh, Bishkoga pays only, right? He pay. No, the kasha is not on the payment. The kasha is on. No, it is on the payment. Yeah, the kasha is showing. He transgressed a lavshe, transgressed the lav of eating truma, b'shogeg, and he's paying, right? So it's only, what's it going to say? The opposite going like a mayor? It's going to say no kimton chumash. You can't do that. How Rabbana going to fight shot that boss going to Reish Lakish? So it's possible for exactly. It's possible to have gotten malchus. It's a lav sheish bo malchus. So then, according to Reish Lakish principles, right, there shouldn't be any chiyuv payment here. Here it says in the post, because if you show you can pay. So you have to say that post is going to lay in there, not like Rabbanan. You can't do that in Chumash. You can say Mishnah is going to remain out Rabbanan, but how can you say post is going to remain out like Rabbanan? So it says Mara Elamisba Savar Shimon Lakish HaChomish Karban. Reish Lakish holds the Chomish is a korban. What does it mean? A chomish is a korban? It means it's a kapara. It's a kapara. You have to pay it when he did it b'shogeg, just like you're being korban if you do something b'shogeg. Okay, special case, unique, right? It says more big deal. But Afili is more a chomish korban. Even if it was a keren, the chomish korban. Keren korban? Why do you have to pay keren? The chomish is a korban. Why do you have to pay keren? Right? Amravina bar Shoma Sisa bar Shakaren Kanas. No, it's not a teretz, it's part of the kasha. What is the keren? The keren is kanas. It's a knas, a fine. Now this fine, you should be absolved from, because there are no fines where you could have hypothetically got a malchus. And how do we know it's a fine? This is often a tangent. The Tziyanocha we learned over here, meaning over there, meaning we learned in previously in Perek Vav, that if you eat truma b'shogeg, then when you make restitution of the kohen, you have to give them proper chulin, ve'nasim truma, and they become truma. Now, if that's the case, I have 3 words here which you don't have. Vilu kimad achil hayim mishalem. If you would pay according to that which you ate yos, then it wouldn't be a knas. It wouldn't be a knas. That I understand. Why? Because he ate truma. If you have to make restitution from similar value to truma, that would be a knas. But now, the truth is that what does he pay back? He pays back chulin mesukanim. He pays back much more than he actually ate, because he ate truma which is worth $5 a bushel, and he has to pay back with chulin which are worth $15 a bushel. So he's actually paying a fine on top. Now, why are we bringing this down? This just proves to us that it's a knas. But the primary reason why we're bringing this down is that it's to ask a question on Reish Lakish. We'll come back to that in a minute, but let's continue a little bit along the line of proving that the restitution for truma is a knas. V'od, you don't have the next 3 words. V'od min hador. We also can prove from here. The Tanya, this you do have, right? The Tanya? The Tani? Achal truma tmeya. If you eat truma which is tamei, mishayim chulin tar, you pay from chulin which is tar. If you pay chulin which is tamei, yatsa. Ask the Gemara, again you don't have these words. My timer. Why do you have to give him chulin mesukanim? All you owe him is the price of wood, because you ate truma tmeya, which is not good for anything except fuel. Yet nonetheless, it's preferable to give chulin mesukanim back. Hadamara shakeren knas. So we see here that keren is knas. Now all that was just parenthetical. The bottom line is they're coming to ask on Reish Lakish. I understand you can have to pay chomesh when you're b'shogeg, because that's like a korban. But the keren is not like a korban. At best, it's a knas. So why do you have to pay the keren? If it's a case which is susceptible to malchus in any way, shape, or form, the keren should be not. You shouldn't be liable for the keren, right? Because that's paying on something which you could have gotten malchus for. So it says Gemara, ukimod teima keren knas ukavos chaimish knas. Let's even take a step further. Let's say just like the keren is a knas, so to the chomesh is a knas. So why are you paying here keren plus chomesh for the aveira of eating truma b'shogeg? So it says Reish Lakish right there. Reish Lakish learned himself, especially because there's a kosev. Kimad the Reish Lakish Amar Taman, just like Reish Lakish said over there by Edim Zoimim. Excuse me. Hakol you b'chlal losana. Everybody's included the prohibition of losana of false testimony. Yotzav asisin lo kasher zomam. So vasito kasher zomam, you should do to the false witnesses what they plotted to do. L'chayv a moment. That means you're chayv to pay money, right? In other words, vasito kasher zomam is a lav. Well, losana is a lav, like any other lav in the Torah. We should flog the Edim Zoimim. Yet nonetheless, the Torah says, no, don't flog them. Make them do what they wanted to bring on the other people.
Special case.
No, so we learn out from there. Reish Lakish does learn out from there. I call you b'chlav because similarly he says over here that we have a pasuk which makes a parallel. I call you b'chozar lo yechol kodesh. Everyone's including the lav of kozar lo yechol kodesh. So really shkem malchus. Why did it say yotzav ishkioch al kodesh? Why did it say you have to pay? B'shkogel l'chayv a moment to teach us that this is simultaneous. Even though you might prefer malchus, there's a special custom that you pay. Okay? And that's a Reish Lakish shita that therefore at least b'shogeg we pay. Right? We have aims. We make a parallel to Edim Zoimim and we say it's a similar case. Okay? Vatani, now we have several series of kashas, but before we get this kashas, I just want to get another coffee. Running out of steam. As in any good rule, there are exceptions to the rule. V'atani, then we learn, Modi chachal ha'meir, chachal k'tziter ha'meir, b'gonei v'chelbo shel chavero, I steal your chalev. V'achlo, and I eat it. Shulo kem Yerushalmi. I have double jeopardy. I have to pay twice, pay and get malchus. So there it says, very interesting thing. They say, the way the Gemara, I'm not sure what to deal with this because I don't like the lumdus of it so much, but the way the Gemara learns it out, there's a proof that they're two separate chiyuvim, and therefore you have to get both punishments. What's the proof of that? The proof is that if I eat my own chalev, I get malchus for it, even though I don't pay myself. So therefore I see that tashlumin is not an alternative for chalev. By truma, either I get malchus, it's either or. There's a situation in which I get malchus, a situation in which I pay, right? But I see here clearly that that by chalev it's not like that. Because if I eat chalev myself, I never have to pay for it. Am I making?
You're eating your own chalev? You're not stealing from
because by truma you do. By truma, remember, even if you own the truma, you still have to pay. Remember, we had the guy who inherited his grandfather Cohen. He still has to pay. So therefore, payment by truma is a inherent substitute for malchus if you did a b'shogeg, or if you did a b'meiz without asra, according to Rabbi Yochanan. But by you're eating your own chalev, there's no such thing as payment, right? There's no configuration. Not configuration, wrong word. No, that's exactly what we're saying. So that's why if I eat somebody else's chalev, so then the fact that I ate chalev in and of itself is mechayim malchus. The payment is a new and additional chiyuv, which I have because I stole from him. So therefore I'm chayav both. As opposed to truma, you understand? And by truma it's either or, not both.
Yeah, but there's no parallel with everyone.
But that, what do you mean? But we have the principle of ein lokim mishalim. We have to explain why it doesn't apply. I mean, by Yutzadar Pashut, I'm very happy you're thinking like the Gemara. But the Gemara feels that it has to be explained that why ain't a lokim mishalim, right? Okay? So, says Gemara, a series of things like this. For a tiny did we learn so there till we say shekena ochel truma so loke. If you eat your own truma, you get malchus. So therefore, now if you eat your friend's truma, you have to get not only the malchus for eating truma, but you also have to make the restitution of having eaten the truma. In other words, the theft issue. But I did we learn consider mayor. Oh. I think I have a typo in my Gemara because I think he printed the same thing twice. So let me go to the next case. Tell me if it flows. But I don't the next case you have. Okay, so there's a typo here. If I muzzle my friend's ox. Now, muzzling oxen is a lav, lo sachsam shor b'tisha, right? So if I muzzle my friend's ox, through loke, I get malchus. Mishalim have to pay him because I robbed my friend of the food which his ox could have eaten. Our boss kam l'pora, the standard measure is 4 kab for a pora, ushlosh is kab l'chabor, and 3 kab for a donkey. So there too we see the same problem. So it says Moshe kena choisim porosa loike. It's also there it's unique. Because somebody who muzzles the raya is somebody who muzzles his own cow gets malchus. Therefore, if I muzzle my friend's cow, certainly I get malchus and I have to pay as well. Rabbi Yosef said the last case was extraneous. The last case was about a plain Jane lav. The first two cases are cases in which it's possible to have a koretz, right? Because the first case were chalev and truma. So in those cases I say lokim mishalim. I certainly will say in a plain Jane lav lokim mishalim as well. So it's unnecessary to bring down the last case of chosim. But gets back on track for Tanya. Do we learn gon up truma hektish v'achol lokim mishalim? If you steal truma of hektish and you eat it, you get lokim mishalim. So chora there, you can't say why does she have to pay hektish, right? Or it's difficult. So the Gemara answers basically the same thing. But if it's because your friends lose money, because hektish lose money, so it's a distinct chiyuv, you have to fulfill it. Yeah. Going back to the true. Ramona kum Rabbi Yossi. Ramona said in front of Rabbi Yossi. If that's the case, and there are possible scenarios, which you get both Malchus and Momen, there's a big typo here in the Gemara. Me'ata ba'achoso ketano. It says it by Bulgaris, right? It's supposed to say ketano. It's probably in the red pass. So ketano yilkevi shalem. If you have relations with your sister who was a minor, you have to get Malchus and pay. Because the Malchus goes, because, why? Shekena bar lachoso bogeres loke. If you have a relation with your sister who's an adult, you don't pay her anything, because she's moichel, right? She's moichel, or there's no knas. So then, all you get is Malchus, right? So therefore, you have a relation with your sister who's a ketana, you should get the Malchus, and you should also have to pay to your father for having had relations with your sister. So Chazer Ramona v'Omar. So Ramona came and said, you know what? All the lumdises we said before are all wrong. I have a better lumdis now, better reason. Why by Chaysim Para do you get both Malchus and Mammon? Taman Chal is a lumdis, a real good lumdis. Taman by Bogeres, by your sister. Chala Misa v'Tashlumi Kachas, you can't pay because your Chiyav Misa or Malchus, the same idea, happened together. The moment you're chayiv Malchus is the same moment you're chayiv money, and the two chiyuvim can't devolve together. So if one pushes the other one off, which pushes which one off? The Malchus or the Misa pushes off the moment, right? However, Ramach, in the case of Chasima, from the time you put the muzzle on, it's chayiv Malchus, you're chayiv in Malchus. Mikan ve'ech tashlumi, the chiyuv for payment for having prevented the ox meeting is subsequent. That's a chayiv both.
Well, they could also be simultaneous.
The Gemara is going to say that ultimately, but not yet. Okay, the meantime, the Gemara holds are consecutive, not simultaneous. Wait a minute, that's the case. What about when you ignite your friend's Gadish, your friend's pile of grain, Shel Shabbos, Shel Chaver b'Shabbos, on Shabbos, say also, Mishibos Rishonin is Chayev Misa. From the moment the first grain is burning, you're Chayev Misa. But for later on, you should be Chayev to pay for having consumed this grain. We know that's not true by Shabbos. By Shabbos, we say if you ignite a fire in your friend's haystack, even if it burnt later on, right? You're chayiv only misa, not moment. Why? What's the difference? Ella. Now I have 4 words that you don't have. Mais chameimar. Why over there? Why do I not say that over there? Because al kol shibos v'shibos yesh bo tzroyes makas. It's like you're saying. It's not consecutive by Shabbos either. It's simultaneous. On each and every grain which is burning, there's a chiyuv both of malchus or misa, and a chiyuv of money. So it's here. Al kol chasim v'chasim, on each and every muzzling, yesh ba tzroyes malchus far tzroyes tashlumin. They're not consecutive because each moment that it's out in the field and not eating is also an additional issur of chasima. Are you going to get a separate malchus? Perhaps not. But it also is something which is susceptible to malchus.
Just say it's behela malchus. It's one action that prevents the animal from eating, one action that lit the fire. It's not consecutive fires, consecutive muzzling on muzzling. It's all the first.
You could say that. But the Gemara doesn't say it. There is a Nimuka Yosef in I forget, in Shabbos, I think, who says something like what you're saying, but it doesn't say that over here. Okay, but you're right, it's a good svara. We'll get to it in a 3 weeks in the morning. So it says the Gemara, so I'm Rabbi Yossi Barbun Shchein Amoraim. The truth is there's machlokas Amoraim. Chad Amar b'chosem. How do you get to do both? Where the first chasima was by chulin, and then afterwards you chosem b'tru mukdashim. You chosem while the cow was working in truma mukdashim. So in that case, he wants to say that you're chayiv malchus. I mean, chosim it, I'm muzzling it when it was supposed to eat chulin. You're chayiv moment when you muzzle it when it was working in truma and in mukdashim. Why not chayiv malchus on that? Because the halacha is in that case you're not supposed to muzzle a cow. You're not allowed to let the cow eat truma mukdashim. But at that same time, you're supposed to put in a feeding whatever in front of its mouth with chulin in it, in order to substitute. So therefore, in that case, you're going to get the chiyah malchus is for the muzzling for the chulin, where you weren't allowed to muzzle. Period. The chiyah moment is for the muzzling. Excuse me. When it was working in truma and hektish. When you should have muzzled, you should muzzle with a different substance inside, and therefore you chayiv to your friend for not having fed the animal which you borrowed from him at that time was working truma mukdashim. So that's a scenario which you can get malchus and moment by chasima. That's one interpretation. The Charina Amar, another way is b'chais madei shliach. I can get malchus a moment where he did the chasima by shliach. Now, in this case, shliach loike. The shliach gets the malchus because he did the chasima, and ain't shliach the dvar aveira, right? Even though he might have been told by the owner to muzzle, there's no shliach the dvar aveira, so he's chayev, bupater, and the owner is the borrower is exempt. It's interesting. There's no bavli for this. Ain't shliach dvar aveira here in the Yerushalmi there's a kosev. In the bavli, it's divrei Rav, divrei Hatalmid, divrei Mishomin. So it's far, you don't listen to somebody who gives an order opposite to that of God. But here it says, Gzeres HaKosuv, Da'ami Choshev Le'ishahu Davilo Sholchov. It's that person gets Taver, not the person who sent him. Special Gzeres HaKosuv. So be that as it may, so the Malchus goes on the Shaliach, on the agent. And the Mammon, who pays the Mammon? The guy who sent him. Because he's the one who owed money to the owner of the ox and now did not pay up on that. Okay, Shogi B'Truma Mesa B'Chomet. What if somebody unintentionally ate Truma? But it was Chometz, he intentionally ate it as Chometz. So it's Chayav Koretz for having Chometz. Or similarly, Shogi B'Truma, person is Shogi B'Truma, he unintentionally ate Truma wine, but he's a Nazir. And he was mazed against his Nazirus, so he transgressed the law, right? Shogi b'truma. Person was shogig on truma, but mazed on Yom Kippur, right? He didn't know it was truma, but knew it was Yom Kippur very well. If we learn it as two separate isurim, so then I can understand. He gets two separate penalties. He pays for the truma besides all the other averos he did. However, if we're going to say that since they were done by one achila, they're considered to be one activity. So we call machlokas Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish. Now, machlokas Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish is not machlokas Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish or Lokim and Shalim, but it's machlokas Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish, which we had previously about whether it's possible to have malchus and a korban at the same time. So here there would be a case, there would be a machlokas could have malchus and kaifer at the same time. Chomish, malchus and chomish, because according to Reish Lakish, once you have malchus, which is our conventional understanding, if you have malchus, there's no such thing as korban, right? So therefore here there'd be no chomesh, right? But if you say like Rabbi Yochanan, that it's possible to conceive a case where there's malchus and korban at the same time, if you were mazing in some aspect and shogig in another aspect, so here too you'd have a case where there'd be malchus on Yom Kippur, malchus on Nazirus, malchus on chometz, yet at the same time you'd have to pay a chomesh besides that, additionally on the truma you ate, okay? Plus the knas of the principal, okay? So that would be a big machlokas for Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish. Talmud, we learned over there. Ein ben Shabbos Yom Kippur is not Shabbos Yom Kippur. El shezez doina b'dei odam, that if you intentionally transgress Shabbos, we stone you to death. V'zez doina b'koris, and if you intentionally transgress Yom Kippur, you just get koris, just koris. However, tashlum is zev shabbat. That sounds like, however, when it comes to payment, they're both equivalent. In other words, if you don't pay on one, you don't pay on the other. If you do pay on one, you do pay on the other. Masnisa, that Bryce or that Mishnah is Marbi Nuchuni ben Akona. It's like Rabbi Chuni ben Akona. Tani, we learned to the Bryce or Rabbi Chuni ben Akona Oimer Yom Kippurim Kishabbos Tashlumit. They're the same. Rishon Menashe Omer Mechuyav increases K'Mechuyav Misas Beistin. It's true, Kares is like Beistin. Mechuyav Kares like, well, actually it's more inclusive, Rishon Menashe. Somebody's Chayav Kares has the same status vis-a-vis payment as somebody who's Chayav Misas Beistin. Ma b'nei, what's the difference whether you say Yom Kippur is like Shabbos, you say Kares is like Misas Beistin? And I'll tell you, several nafkaminas. Ravacha b'shem Ravina Omar, Nara Nida b'neiho. What girl is a Nida? Nida's a Kares, right? Nida's a Kares. Okay, Kares have relations with a Nida. However, it's not like a Yom Kippur completely. Because Yom Kippur, although the Gemara hasn't said this yet, the Gemara will say in a moment, Yom Kippur ain't heter l'isura. Yom Kippur can never become mutter. I know in the case of Pekuach Nevesh, but then that's a special case. Normally Yom Kippur is not mutter. But a Nida will be mutter in another week and a half. So therefore it's possible to say that this is a lower form of Kares than Yom Kippur. Even if you say Yom Kippur is like Shabbos, maybe Nida is not like Shabbos. And maybe whatever I say about Misa and Mormon by the severe case of Shabbos will apply to Yom Kippur, but known to play plot, which is almost as severe, because ain't heter l'isura, it's never mutter, but might not apply to the lower level case of Nara Nida. Okay?
Nida, a week and a half later, she's not Nida anymore.
Okay,
So
but Yom Kippur...
after Nila, it's no longer Yom Kippur.
No, but it's the same woman, the same chefza. The chefza of Yom Kippur never becomes mutter. Similar case, Armamona av achos ishto beineon. Your sister's wife, your wife's sister, who's not mutter to you during your wife's lifetime, was mutter you after your wife's death. So now we explain that in great detail. Ma Shabbos ein lo heter ach yisura. It's never, it itself never becomes mutter. Yom Kippurim nami ein lo heter ach yisura. Yom Kippur itself never becomes mutter. The zoo, however, these women, well, v'yesh lo heter ach yisura, since they become mutter after the Isser, mishalem, you pay. Rabbi Shimon Asi doesn't understand distinction. Shabbos yesh ba kares. Shabbos has a kares. Yom Kippurim yesh ba kares. Yom Kippur has a kares. V'zu el yesh ben kares. In both cases, since they have a kares and a mishalem, you do not pay. Rabbi Ben Pazi boy. Rabbi Ben Pazi asked, Makus ukrisus ma armin bahon hilei tanoi. What about if you have a case? What do Yerushalmi Terumos and Rishonim Nasi say about a case where they did work on Yom Kippur, but they threatened to give you malchus. They didn't threaten you with chorus. So Rabbi Yossi Tzrichel Rabbanin, Stakasofik, what is status in this case? So no, I'm sorry. Can they give you malchus in this case? They gave us sort for malchus on Yom Kippur. What? Well, they should have said you're going to be chayav chorus, right? So can they give you malchus on that? So it's taka suffix. Says more to suffix. We don't know. Rabbi Yonah said, why you say that? Lama lo shmanu min lo min adah. The Rabbi Shimon by Yochai. Learn for Shimon by Yochai. The tiny Rabbi Shimon by Yochai Omer. And Rabbi Tarfon Omer. Rabbi Shimon Yochai said, name Rabbi Tarfon. Nemar Kors B'Shabbos says Kors B'Shabbos. Nemar Kors Yom Kippur says Kors Yom Kippur. Ma Kors on Rabbi Shabbos. So Kors is stated by Shabbos. A Malchus say to me, so if they were, they can't give you Malchus. It's a shaykh to me, so there's no Malchus. Oh, it should be a Malchus. Of course, I'm going to be Yom Kippur, made Malchus say till Kores. There's no Malchus by Kores. So that's Gemara's kasha. L'chorah, it's explicit. So I'm Rabbi Mona said, I'm Rabbi Mona Kumi Rabbi Yossi. No, the truth is I have to leave for tomorrow because it's late already. We're going to come back to this and we'll see that it's possible to have Malchus in a case where they gave you Asura, even though it's shaykh to death. If they gave you Asura for Malchus, it's possible to get Malchus. We'll see that tomorrow. Right now we haven't seen that. Rishon B'Chai holds not that way. We'll come back to tomorrow.